Hello and welcome to the big picture. The Uttarakhand political crisis has assumed new legal dimensions now. After a single judge of the Uttarakhand High Court had yesterday virtually stayed the proclamation declaring president's rule in the state and directed the chief minister to take a vote of confidence tomorrow, a division bench today stayed that order. So tomorrow Chief Minister Harish Rawat will not be taking a floor test. Meanwhile, the division bench has set the next date for hearing on April 6th, and till then the order of the single judge has been stayed. Meanwhile, the decision of the centre to impose president's rule a day before Rawat was to take a vote of confidence was directed by the governor, and the subsequent developments have raised a whole lot of legal and constitutional questions. We will discuss today what has happened and also the order of the single judge and its repercussions. To discuss this, I have with me Soli Sorabji, former Attorney General of India, PDT Achari, former Secretary General Lok Sabha, Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate in the Supreme Court, Pushpesh Pant, Political Analyst, and Satya Prakash, Legal Editor, Hindustan Times. Welcome to all of you. Mr. Sorabji, can you hear me? Okay, we'll get back to him. There's some little problem there. Sanjay, what is this order? The single judge order yesterday and now today's latest order, which has stayed the single judge's order. First, let us look at the single judge's order.
Well, the single judge's order was basically almost trying to restore as much of the status quo ante as was possible. That is, the governor had ordered the government to undergo a floor test on the 28th. Just before that, president's rule had been imposed. So the single judge possibly thought that going by earlier judgments of the Supreme Court, which hold that the only place to test the majority of any government is the floor of the assembly, he ordered a floor test and he put in certain safeguards. There was the question of the disqualified MLAs. Would they be allowed to vote? So he said, yes, let them vote, but keep their votes separately. As to what he would have done with the result of the floor test, we now will remain only in the realm of speculation, because today the division bench has stayed the order, and it does appear to me that going by news reports, that the division bench wants to examine the whole issue at one go, directly on the 6th of April, to go into the question of whether president's rule was validly imposed or not.
Okay, that seems to be the question. I think we have Soli Sorabji now with us. Mr. Sorabji, you know, what are the implications of this? The order which the single judge had given yesterday, and now the latest is that the division bench has stayed the order of the single judge, and you know, is going to hear the matter on 6th of April. So what does all this mean?
I'll tell you. On the 6th of April, the division bench is going to decide the main question about the validity of imposition of president's rule. Because if the president's rule is validly imposed, the question of floor test doesn't arise. So rather than go into the question of the floor test was rightly called for, division bench says, let's go to the root of the matter, decide whether the imposition of president's rule in the state is constitutional, and then decide the whole issue.
Okay, so Mr. Sorabji, according to you, you think... Yes.
One thing I want to say.
Yes.
May I say one thing? I don't understand one thing, that under the Constitution, the president's rule will cease to expire after 2 months, unless both houses of parliament endorse it. Now, I don't think there is the majority in the Rajya Sabha. So, in a sense, I think this is just a comedy of errors. In the Rajya Sabha, doesn't look like the BJP will get the majority to endorse this. So then it ceases to expire after 2 months. Why hasn't this aspect been considered by anyone?
That's right. That's a very important aspect. In fact, yesterday that was being discussed, but this order of the single judge overtook that aspect. But now that aspect has become very important now. What the division bench will do, let us not speculate on that. But Mr. Sorabji, as far as the imposition of the president's rule is concerned, you know, when a day before the governor ordered floor test, how do you look at that?
No, that will be decided by the division bench upon the material placed before it. You see, President's rule can be challenged. This is clear. It's not immune from judicial scrutiny. But it must be on the grounds that there was no case made out to lead to the inference of breakdown of constitutional machinery. For example, suppose ऐसा बोले कि chief minister lecture देता है, then these people say hi, so that's not breakdown of constitutional machinery. If you impose president's rule on such ground, of course it will be struck down. But what is the material in the governor's report? How will be evaluated? That all will be seen on the final date of hearing, 6th April or something, I believe. And then this question of floor test, to my mind, now loses relevance and significance.
But that's
So the main issue will be decided, was the imposition of president's rule justified or not?
no, Mr. Sorabji, in the context of the Bommai judgment, isn't the Bommai judgment, as far as the
Sorry?
floor test is concerned, important in this here?
Yes, but the Bohai judgment itself says that there may be certain circumstances in which the floor test may not be held. The very Bohai judgment, see the last sentence of the very para. But this is all becoming irrelevant. Why go into the question of floor test? We are going to the question of the main thing. Was the president's rule validly imposed? If not, the whole thing will be struck down and no question of floor test. If it is upheld, then again raise the question of floor test.
Then the question of whether it will be...
Please remember one thing.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now look, even in a case of a majority government, this is majority minority, suppose the government has majority in the assembly, even then if conditions are made out, president's rule can be imposed. So it's not a question of minority itself. Even a government having a majority, suppose it acts in contravention of the constitution. It really discriminates against certain section of the community, or it passes certain executive orders which really discriminates against some other people on religious ground. It can be, president's rule can be imposed, irrespective of majority or minority.
That's right.
In other words, a majority government can, if there are proper grounds available in law, can be dismissed and president's rule may be imposed.
Okay.
That's my reading of the Constitution.
Okay. Mr. Achari, how do you look at this?
See, the validity of the presidential proclamation will be examined by the division bench. Now, in this context, I want to say one thing. After the imposition of the president's rule, the Union Finance Minister made a statement. It had come in the press, wherein he had said one very interesting thing. He said the appropriation bill was not passed.
Right.
So a government could not have been carried on in accordance with the constitutional provisions. So it appeared that he was suggesting that that was one of the grounds for
Right.
imposing president's rule. Now, if you examine that a little closely, then you will find very interesting facts.
Right.
The appropriation bill was put to the speaker put it as a question, and then, as you know, that
A voice vote was taken.
voice vote was taken, and he did not allow the division to be held. Now, who will decide whether the speaker
Has
has
done the
done
right
it
thing.
correctly or not? As per the Constitution 212 and also 122 in the case of Parliament, makes it very clear that the proceedings of the House cannot be challenged in a court on the ground of procedural irregularity. Now, this is a
And
procedural irregularity.
Speaker's decision is final.
Yeah, this is a procedural irregularity. So, a court cannot examine that. And then, what is going to happen? Who will decide that? The Speaker is the authority. Speaker has the final say on that matter. Why the finality has been conferred on the Speaker on these matters is, otherwise, what will happen? Every day there will be
Every day,
challenge
yes.
of the proceedings of the House. So, Speaker has been given this power. Whether Speaker did it properly or not, that is not a very relevant question in this context.
Sir, very interestingly, the Union Cabinet, when it came out with this proclamation, one of the things which it said, or one of the main things which it said was, the government there was unconstitutional and immoral. Where does the question of immorality come there?
Immorality, maybe he was referring to, the chief minister offering money to some people and all that. Maybe that.
But that is, again, is not been,
But
it's in the realm of speculation.
Unconstitutionality is something which we don't understand. We don't understand. So what I was saying was that if you go by the speaker's version, if you go by the assembly's records, after all, that is the most relevant record to be looked into in this context. If you go by that, then you will find that the appropriation bill was passed. If that was done, then where was the need for imposing president's rule on that ground? That ground doesn't exist at all. Now,
But that
the
issue-
latest development is the houses are going to be prorogued or have been prorogued or something
Yes, the
to
parliament.
enable
Yes.
the government to promulgate an ordinance.
Right.
Okay. As an
promulgate an
for
ordinance
appropriating
to-
money,
Yes.
to withdrawing money from the consolidated fund of the state.
Right.
Now, that also hinges on this aspect, whether the appropriation bill was passed or not.
Right. Who
If
will
it had been
decide?
passed, then there is no
but
question of
who-
proroguing
who-
the houses.
Who will decide that?
No, that is what I'm saying. You have to go by this PK's decision. about
Let me get
proceedings.
sir, before I come to you, sir. Mr. Sorabji, no, it's a very interesting point which has been raised by Mr. Acharya as far as the appropriation bill is concerned. Who will decide whether the appropriation bill has been passed or not?
Well, I suppose it will be the speaker,
Yeah.
but his decision can be challenged.
But
It's not very
cannot
clear.
be directly
But
challenged.
to my mind,
yes,
this has become irrelevant now. Because now we are going to the main question about the validity of imposition of president's rule.
one of the reasons for imposition of the president's rule is
So
that
I
the
must say there is some force in Mr. Acharya's point of view.
yes. Sir, one of the major reasons for imposition of the president's rule, as Mr. Acharya also pointed out, was that the appropriation bill has not been passed and the government the Uttarakhand state will come to a standstill because of that. They needed to impose the president's rule.
Yeah. Well, the court will go into it.
The court will go into
Whether the
because-
ground is sustainable, whether
Okay.
the ground is factually correct and legally sustainable.
Okay, that will be Mr. Professor Pant.
Court will be forced to go into it.
The court will be forced
because normally courts stay out of proceedings in the legislature.
Right, and here-
But here it comes to a question of fact, and based on that fact, that objective fact, a decision to impose president's rule has been taken. So therefore, somewhere or the other, the court will be forced to go into it.
That's interesting.
No, I
Sir,
think, Girish,
yes.
that is the most distressing part of this whole sordid affair, because the courts have been dragged into something which is a gross political battle in
Right.
Uttarakhand between partisan political parties. My problem is that, as Sodhi Sorabji rightly says, Mr. Acharya made the point that what happens in the House is, and the Speaker decides, his is the final word, it is not judiciable in a court of law. But now it comes to a situation, whether there was a constitutional breakdown of constitutional machinery is a matter of fact. But that fact is put on record and the court will consider that. But regardless of whatever happens, I think enough damage has been done to constitutional authorities, constitutional institutions, and blown to smithereens are the democratic traditions. So what happens is the government, to my mind, hasn't acquitted himself very well. If he thought that in his wisdom that the constitutional machinery had broken down on 18th, he should have recommended the imposition of the president's rule and
the
not
first
given a
place.
date for a trial of strength.
You're talking of the governor.
I'm talking to the governor of Uttarakhand.
Right.
Now, the second problem is that I think what stopped His Excellency the President from sending back the recommendation of the cabinet, if we thought it was grossly unconstitutional or transgressed the best traditions of democracy. He could do it once. Mr. Hegde probably would correct me, and he can't do it the second time. He is bound to follow the advice of the Union Cabinet.
There have been presidents in the past.
There have been presidents in the
presidents.
past.
K.R.
K.R.
Narayan
Narayan.
did it.
Right.
And the worst part is that we are into this beautiful game of where on one hand we believe in the concept of supremacy of parliament. We are not the French or the Americans where the separation of power is Montesquieuite or like the American system, checks and balances. But then we are eroding the authority of the elected representatives of the people and constitutional authorities like Speaker, and we keep complaining about the judicial overreach, and we are going out on a limb to drag courts into it. And let's not forget just one final word, Girish, that in a couple of months' time, Uttarakhand goes to polls. And this is basically an exercise where Mr. Acharya said immorality question is brought here, is taint the opponents with a stain which they will have to live with for the rest of their lives.
Okay, that's, Satyaprakash, this may be, I mean, as Mr. Sorabji will say that this is, it's become immaterial now. One of the orders of the single judge yesterday was that the disqualified MLAs can vote. Now that's another area. Now, of course, it has become irrelevant according to Mr. Sorabji, and that is an area which actually in future it may again crop up.
The single judge's order, it has lots of problems. It's like a doctor trying to revive a patient, saying that I'll revive his legs or his hands, but I'll not revive his heart or brain. It's like that. This was a very peculiar or unprecedented kind of order in which the single judge said, the president rule remains. He did not stay the proclamation. So the president rule remains. It has two implications. One is that the assembly is under suspended animation. And second, the government remains dismissed. So if the government is dismissed, then how can you ask somebody to seek, the chief minister to seek vote of confidence? Second, if the assembly remains under suspended animation, how can you ask the speaker to hold, to convene the assembly? Third, the single judge did not stay the disqualification of 9 Congress MLAs, and still he is saying they can take part in the take part in the trust vote. So it was a very peculiar kind of order, and I'm glad that the division bench has stayed it. But the real problem in this is that there are two aspects of the entire controversy. One is political, the other is judicial. The political part, the governor somehow, by his first fixing a date for trial of strength and by second sending a report recommending president rule, he somehow complicated the matter, and then the result we have seen. And when parties went for correction before the Uttarakhand High Court, the High Court single judge order, it further complicated
the situation.
So let's hope that now that, particularly in president's rule, this was perhaps the first time that it was in a way indirectly stayed. It has never happened that proclamation is in place and then you are holding trial of strength. So that was, I suppose, it was quite anomalous. I'm glad again that the High Court has, division bench has stayed it. Let's hope that, because in such matters, as has been pointed out earlier, that there is 2 months' time. Already almost a week is lost. So 2 months' time. Everybody knows that the BJP or the NDA, they don't have the numbers in the Rajya Sabha. It is not going to approve it in the Rajya Sabha. It's a question of time. The High Court should have heard it expeditiously and decided it at the earliest.
Okay, Sanjay?
You see,
the single judge order, now, all these complications which have come out of it.
Yes, in fact, I expect the High Court will go into an expedited hearing, and probably we should have a verdict before the end of 2 months. But what this process basically tells you is that if the center is willing to act tough, it can even go on the footing that, within 2 months, even if it is not approved by the Rajya Sabha or by Parliament as a whole, in 2 months, things will change. A week is a long time in politics. That seems to be the kind of political calculation. But what is valid in politics is not necessarily constitutional or constitutionalism. This country has to adhere to the holy book of the Constitution. And if you know that you can't really get President's rule approved by Parliament, trying it as an emergency, desperate measure to put in a lid on the game, I don't think that is quite called for.
That's Mr. Sorabji. These are very important and interesting points. Knowing fully well that this may not, it will not. Yes, sir.
But dear friend, this is all speculation. Now you require astrologers, you don't require legal experts.
Maybe you have to change your panel.
Now it's too late for me to get an astrologer on this panel, Mr. Sorabji, but as far as this issue is concerned, the issues raised by Mr. Satyaprakash, how and how the single judge order has complicated the matter. Would you like to respond to that?
I don't think division bench has complicated the matter.
Single judge. I'm
Division
talking to the
bench
single
has
judge.
actually got the bull by the horns.
No, I'm talking to the single judge order, sir.
Division bench says now we'll go into the whole question of validity of President's rule. In which case the question of Florte's rule is of significance.
Mr. Saurabhji, I'm talking about the single
And
judge.
this is an expedited hearing.
I'm talking of the single judge order.
A
where-
single judge I find very, no, that I find very strange and incomprehensible.
Okay, Mr. Acharya, this, it's very interesting. What happened with the 9 MLAs? First, the speaker issues a notice to all of them. Then, by the time the notice, he is able to take a decision on those replies. The president's rule is imposed, but he takes a decision after the president's rule is imposed, and then disqualifies them. So, are those disqualifications valid?
See, the president's, the speaker's order disqualifying these people has nothing to do with the presidential proclamation.
Okay,
Speaker continues, Speaker continues,
Okay.
and this is not a part of the House.
because it's in suspended animation.
His decision on the 10th schedule is not a part of the House proceedings. So these are two separate things.
Okay,
Then, see, about the Speaker's decision to disqualify the members, I have to make 1 or 2 points.
yeah, please.
One is that, as per the rule, Speaker has to give them a notice of 7 days. That is a statutory period
Yes.
notice.
Yeah.
7 days notice has to be given. And after that, the Speaker will consider it. And then the rule also says that they have to be given a personal hearing. This is also a part of the rule. And that part has not been adhered to by the Speaker.
Right.
Anyway, he has issued the order. And naturally, that order will also be challenged, I think, separately.
It has to be done separately. It can't
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
It
It is
has
not a
been
part
done.
of this, the presidential proclamation challenge. It's a separate challenge. But as of now, they are not members. Once the Speaker has issued that order disqualifying them, and it must have been notified in the Gazette and all that, they have ceased to be members. Now,
can they vote?
that's what I'm saying, I'm coming to that. Unless the court stays the order of the Speaker specifically on this. But even in that case, it is doubtful whether the court will restore the voting power of the members. You know that in election cases, when the election is struck down,
Mrs. Gandhi's case.
when it is stayed by the higher court, appellate court, then what happens is his membership will be restored, but his
Voting will
voting
not.
right will not be restored.
Right.
So same thing can happen here. So that is why it was very strange when the single judge yesterday, without staying the operation of the Speaker's order, disqualifying these members, he said they can vote.
That may be because that question was not before him at all.
No.
No, the question was before him. There were separate petitions.
There were separate-
There was one petition challenging President's rule, and there was another petition challenging these.
It has to be a separate petition.
Second one had not come up for hearing,
Had
but
not-
their advocates were there.
Okay. Yeah. So, but now, all these complications, the politics of it is getting, is
No,
lost
I think,
somewhere.
Girish, but politics is the core.
It's the
I
core.
think, what Mr. Hegde was saying, I still am very strongly drawn towards that statement that a week is a long time in politics. And there may be an academic discussion, legal hair splitting, constitutional wizardry, but I mean, we have several times in this discussion used the word strange. And strangeness is a phenomenon which ranges from particle physics to metaphysics. Now, the problem is, it's also been recommended that we have astrologers to help us out. But I think that is a serious comment. I think because most people in Uttarakhand who are going to vote about their next set of elected representatives are going to speculate. And speculation about what could have happened, what might happen, is very much a part of the rough and tumble of politics, electoral politics. And the speculation is not only about Uttarakhand, it is about what might happen in Himachal, what might happen in Manipur, and desperate maladies call for desperate remedies. All of them may not be constitutional. That is what my problem is. I mean, the morality is not a morality play. Nobody is going to vote by Ivor Jennings or D.D. Basus, etc. Nobody does. Had that been being done, our democracy would be safe. When the constitutional authorities and institutions are systematically subverted, you can kill democracy not by dealing it a dramatic, melodramatic blow. You can kill it by slowly, silently, as surely through poisoning of this kind. That is what concerns me.
Okay, Mr. Sorabji, I have another question. Now that this issue is before the High Court, and it has to be decided,
Yeah.
as long as it takes for the High Court to take a decision, and I am sure after that somebody will go to the Supreme Court. So does it mean that the imposition of the President's rule will remain till then? And which effectively means that the term of this assembly may get over by that time?
No.
After 2 months, it will go.
No. Two things can happen.
Yes.
Either the High Court can uphold the imposition of President's rule, then the other questions don't arise.
Right.
In case the High Court strikes down the imposition of President's rule, then naturally someone will go and appeal to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court may grant the stay or may grant a conditional stay. But this is part of the process. You see, after all, the courts have been brought into it. They don't so more to entertain this. They have to entertain this because of a serious question about dismissal of an elected government. So
Mr.
really speaking, I think we should not speculate so much, except two things clear, that so long as the President's rule, imposition of President's rule has not been stayed, has not been struck down, there's no question of the Assembly not being in suspended animation. It is.
Yes. Okay. Well,
What will happen about the High Court Division Bench judgment depends on the judgment.
absolutely. Okay. Sanjay, very quickly.
But assuming they strike down the President's rule, then the summons will go up in appeal.
That's
It
right.
will go up in appeal.
Okay. Sanjay, so till this case is decided, what about the 2 months period for the Parliament to approve the President's rule? What happens to that?
That still has to be adhered to.
If it is not adhered to, if in the next 2 months it is not adhered to, what happens?
Well, then you would have to find a way around that, either through a judicial intervention, or it is possible that you'd probably have to have a constitutional fix where you reconvene the assembly and probably again impose President's rule. We'd have to cross that bridge when we come to it. But I frankly still stand by my week is a long time in politics. I expect that this President's rule imposition was basically to tell people, make up your minds fast because time is running out. Offers which are on the table will not remain there for very long.
Okay. That's a very sad commentary on the state of affairs, if that is the case. But we hope that this complete mess which we seem to be in the Uttarakhand state seems to be in it will be able to come out of it through judicial intervention. But how soon it will be done, we'll have to wait and watch. But it's a complete mess, as all my guests agree. We'll wait and watch what happens. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue of the big picture same time tomorrow.